I did not expect to love Silent Hill 2 as much as I did. I mean, sure, it's got a lot of elements that are right up my alley. Exploration, action, puzzle solving, etc. But being such an intense, heavy horror experience, I was surprised to find myself itching to replay it almost right away. Ideally, I would have gone back to the original if it were more readily available. Maybe one day I'll nut up and start emulating, but for now, of course I've gone down a rabbit hole of YouTube essays on both versions, and after scratching the itch of a second playthrough with New Game Plus, I'm eager to contribute my own. So please join me as I dive into why I'm already confident saying Silent Hill 2 is a new favorite of mine. Looking at reviews for this remake, I found it interesting that some people think it lacks a surreal, dreamlike quality compared to the original with its greater realism. Obviously I can't properly compare, but I don't know, this felt pretty surreal to me. That James never has a moment to himself or anyone else of, holy crap, this town is full of monsters. How can you sit there and eat pizza? The unnatural way some of the dialogue is delivered, along with the 1,000-yard stare every character has at one point or another, lends the proceedings an off-kilter uneasiness long before reality seems to completely distort and it feels like you're descending into hell or madness or both. It was also fascinating to realize on replay how little the larger world of Silent Hill is fleshed out in the collectible notes. Maybe those in the dungeons, shall we call them? But the majority relate to James and Mary's life dealing with Mary's disease. Suddenly the whole thing seemed a lot more claustrophobic, and there's lots of details like that which greatly heighten the psychological horror. The sensation of the town being both on pause and a living entity tormenting James, which I guess it kind of is, the otherworld feeling like the grimiest nightmare you desperately want to wake from, and the sound. Oh my god, the sound! There's so many moments where I can't quite tell if certain noises are an imminent danger or merely part of the soundtrack. Then in the prison you have those goddamn footsteps in the pitch black courtyard, and if that weren't unnerving enough, how about a woman just screams in this bathroom for no reason? Oh my god, that gave me anxiety for at least 5 minutes after it happened. And that was when I was playing for the second time and was actively seeking it out for the recording. I mean, the atmosphere here is beyond incredible. The prison and labyrinth especially feel so oppressive, I found them genuinely draining to play through in the absolute best way. All the environments are so enthralling yet so unsettling to explore, bolstered by phenomenal art design, incredibly evocative music, and outside of a couple moments respite, always permeated with a searing sense of dread that bleeds into and elevates the gameplay. The combat is very basic judged on its own, but the sense of the struggle to survive, quickly running out of bullets, still messing up the timings of dodges, always kept me on my toes. I could have used the chainsaw to plow through New Game Plus and just get the necessary footage, but as funny as it is to use in such an otherwise serious game, feeling the vulnerability of James in encounters is a lot more immersive and gratifying. The radio adds a lot to the overall intensity. It's not so much the fight itself that makes me uneasy as it is the anticipation of it. And holy crap, that first moment you see Pyramid Head just standing behind those bars is an absolutely bone-chilling moment. Then there's those bloody mannequins. I've played the game twice now. I should be used to awaiting them in a quiet room, yet they continue to catch me off guard. Even spotting one hiding in a contorted position before attacking gives me the willies. You may fight the same handful of enemies throughout with enough medicine to prevent things getting overly difficult, yet I personally never found myself getting too confident taking any of them on. No, the biggest challenges on offer here are usually the puzzles. Those, along with the requirements needed to see some of the endings, are the clearest indicator that this is a remake of a 2001 game. I mean, how are you supposed to figure some of this stuff out without assistance? But for the most part, I love the creativity and variety of these parts. Deducing riddles feels very rewarding, exploring the lives of the 3 special patients throughout the hospital is compelling, and I had plenty of satisfying eureka moments solving these. The content warning at the start really sets the tone for how heavy this story is. It's even worse once you realize how much of it pertains to just Angela. All her scenes are a lot more harrowing knowing the full context, and Abstract Daddy has surely got to be the darkest boss fight I've ever encountered. Mechanically, all the bosses are very satisfying to fight, but the storytelling happening here is on another level. It's shocking and uncompromising in how it suffocates you in her world and trauma. And playing through the second time, I felt like crying, which I've never had with a horror sequence before. And that Angela's story ends with her beyond hope of saving. This narrative is merciless in how it forces these characters to atone. The few characters who aren't Maria are only encountered a couple of times throughout, but every interaction is riveting in what it contributes to the larger picture emotionally or thematically. Laura is the one innocent soul, or mostly innocent, the little brat, unaffected by the town's spell. Eddie is a mirror to James. You feel bad for him until the monster inside reveals what it's capable of the closer you are to uncovering the truth. Maria herself is such an intriguing, alluring mindfuck. It was a great oh moment on replay when I noticed she puts herself in James's view when he's about to notice Lakeview Hotel. Her role in the story is essentially the same as the fog in the game's world, to obscure the full picture in James's memory. James Sunderland is a very simple character to spend 15 hours in the shoes of, solely defined by his determination to find his wife against all odds, which makes him generally sympathetic, and makes the realization he killed Mary all the more impactful. It's a very powerful, challenging reckoning of empathy for the player, knowing he committed murder in cold blood, yet after looking at the world through his eyes quite literally this entire game, still feeling for him and his crushing guilt. Understanding he was trying to put someone out of their misery, just maybe not who he intended to. The first ending I got was Leave, which I found rather moving in how James is able to overcome his demons and make the whole experience mean something, unlike Angela or Eddie. But of course, this game also presents a fate where he succumbs just like them. The overall tale is more enriching for there being multiple conclusions to glean from it without a definitive closing note or answer. Well, I say that. What outcome would be more horrifying than realizing the whole ordeal was orchestrated by a cute little dog? More games should have joke endings. I first played this back in January, and my second playthrough was 2 months ago now, yet I still can't stop thinking about its captivating, brutal world. And it's been a long time since a game lodged itself in my mind quite as firmly as this has, which is why I have no reservations about considering it one of my favorites already.